Okay, 7:21 August PM, August 30th, and it's Friday evening, and I am just kind of being as mellow as I possibly can be. I was listening to some regular music earlier, and then I decided, I'm just gonna calm myself down and just think is what I want to do, and ground myself. I try to have separate things, when I'm at work, I'm focusing on what I'm doing. If I'm talking and having a conversation, I want to enjoy the conversation. I like to listen to people and hear their experiences. And everything has a designated time and a place and significance, And right now I'm just I just want to think. That's all I want to do. I want to focus on my thinking, which is something I usually do anyway, beyond my control most of the time. My brain never shuts off. But I want to really focus in on my thoughts, and think about just dealing with things, how try to find positive solutions to this mental bullshit that I'm going through. I will say that, every day gets a little better. I still sometimes reflect on the bullshit that lasted decades, but intensified in the last few years, and revealed itself, I would like to say. So there's a lot going through my mind. Most of it is just, how do I get myself off the ground? How do I pick myself up after such mental shit, such trauma and terrorism for eons and eons it lasted or began, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just resting tonight, and just kind of thinking about, the people who I used to know, and how they, these people have followed my family, blindly, I might add, throughout the years, and never used any judgment. I mean, they knew that I was bullied by my family, but yet they never did anything. In fact, they either turned a blind eye or they just kind of went along with it. And that goes for the employers too. It's they don't, the kind of disruption that this sort of energy causes in a workplace. It's unnecessary, first of all, but it shakes a person, it shakes them, and it's very disturbing, because it's somebody's basically dangling your life, and they don't think about it that way, even though no matter whether they realize the severity of the issue or not, it was meant to be malicious. It was meant to be, something that was going to try to hurt me in some way, every single time, And so when I think about somebody who treats you in such a manner, and then have these double games with you, meaning, they see you and they don't even talk about it. They're just it's their little inside secret. It's pretty disturbing. Okay, that's disturbing. There's so many issues relating to the trauma that I'm going through, and it's it's something I've never experienced before in my life. Sure, I've always dealt with the two-faced friend. I mean, who hasn't, right? That's common. But backstabbing, I mean, throw you under the bus, back up and run over you 5 more times, and it's just, God, I'm serious. It's God damn, and then coming from people that you knew that were of the same blood relation, that shit is just, it really threw me for a loop. I'm becoming more accepting of it, but it's wow, it's you have this one reality that you've been living in all your life, and then find out that it's something completely opposite. I remember making the comparison to those old 70s cheesy, I guess, B movies or whatever, where they have this guy wearing this mask, and it's somebody rips it off, and there's this paneling and wiring and everything inside of it, and I feel my God, I've been around these people, these programmed people, robots, all my life, And I was fooled, not really fooled, I would say just not really paying attention to the smiling faces, because like when I really care about somebody or like somebody, I don't like to sit here and read into them that deeply, okay? I don't. I want to trust. I want to have my barriers down, I don't want to be, so standoffish, but, it serves me well, okay, to use that sort of discretion, because people will mess your crap up. They will. They'll do it just for jokes, just for their fun and kicks. They're just really malicious people. But, I've always had the ability to, like, read into a person. Oh, is this person harmful to you? Are they sincere? Whatever. But, when you're around people all your life, you don't think that you would have to do that, because you are under the assumption that maybe they're not somebody that I'd want to hang out with, but they're my family. I respect their space. I respect their will. I respect their things. That sort of thing. So you think that they think like you, because it's just weird, okay? I'm just going to tell you right now, it was a mental blow for me. And then the issue of being around people, setups, I call them, whether they're fake job interviews or like you're working for somebody, and then there's a bunch of people coming into your office because they've been sent to do that. It's like, it's more than what a person can deal with, okay? So I've given myself time, and I want to start, like, taking the necessary steps. And it's just hard because there's not a lot of information on how to do that, and everybody heals in their own time, you know what I mean? Anyway, so it wasn't a bad day today. I just really wanted to, I've been wanting to be alone a lot, more than ever right now. I mean, I want to be around people, but, right now it's just like, I'm like happy off to myself in my own little world, and, I prefer that, right now, because I'm so deep into thought, that I don't want to deal with the disruption. Everything would seem like an intrusion at this point. So I'm just, content to just kind of, whatever. Sometimes I do feel talkative, and that's one of the reasons why I make these videos. They do help, they help to, get things off my mind, and also helps me mark things as a reference point if I ever need to refer to it somehow. Mind you, I don't keep like a log of all my videos that make certain points, but whatever thing that I talk about or remember or whatever, I feel it's necessary to say I want to talk about it, so that it's kind of like a diary, like when you keep a diary, yeah, or an event journal or whatever, so that you can look back and say, oh, okay, on this day this is going on. And it's also interesting because, it puts the puzzle together. From when I first started making these videos back in 2015, I was completely unaware that all these people were involved in what exactly happened and the sequential order. I understand where all the disasters were coming, but I didn't quite understand where they were exactly coming from. And so throughout this time, it shows, me wondering what was going on, me focusing mainly on the employers, blah, 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 and then I started piecing people together. And then, a lot of it was just me having my intuition, and this quiet time serves me very well, okay? Because, it helps to, number one, you're looking back and remembering certain things at certain time periods, and the conversations that you had. And then as you go to bed at night, certain things start to unfold, like, and maybe not happen that day at night, but it might reveal itself to you at some other time, So it took me a very long time to figure this out, and it's been exhausting because I felt really violated. It doesn't take away the fact that I know. Some people say, oh, well, it's just my, weird, whacked out family, and they'll just kind of shrug it off. Some people are like that, okay? But for somebody who was under the impression that these people were somewhat decent, okay, and then to find all this out, it is shocking to me. I took it very hard. It wasn't a relief for me to find out that so-called family was manipulating the strings. it was something that didn't bring relief. It brought even more trauma. It was even more trauma inducing, because this is a hate crime that that to me is, it shouldn't be shocking. It shouldn't be. Now that I say that, because looking back, I can see, some of the bullshit now. Only now. Before, I just thought, oh, maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe, my sister's just kind of grumpy today or whatever. But I'm thinking about how sometimes when her negative behavior would show, and then I kept thinking, at the time, I never realized, I always, like I said, I chalked it up like she was having a bad day. But I never realized that there was so much resentment, so much jealousy, so much all of this. I had no idea. None. And, that is very disturbing and earth-shattering to me. So, wow, that's all I can say about that. But, it's not a bad evening, sun's going down right now, and it's just real peaceful, and it's nice, and I'm just trying to enjoy it, get out in the sunlight for a little bit tomorrow, and just kind of, take care of business and enjoy the day as much as I can. I like being at home sometimes, but, it's nice to get out. Mind you, all the things that I usually do to get out of the house are same routine stuff. I might shake it up, go one place first instead of the other, but I pretty much hit the same spots every weekend. You know what I mean? If I do get out of the house. And, that gets to be a little bit, dull sometimes. So you have to do different things. You have to find things, to keep yourself busy. Make it different somehow. Change up the routine in some way, But I will say it's mind-numbing. Okay, it can get mind-numbing. So I guess I just have to constantly think positive thoughts and not be so negative all the time. But it's kind of hard after all of this, right? So anyway, that's really all I wanted to say. Just kind of ramble on, I want to talk, but I don't want to be around people to do it right now. So I'm just, I'm just in one of those, I'm in a decent mood, okay? I'm in a decent mood. Not a great mood, but I'm okay. I'm just, I'm getting my brain together, because it's like, I value other people's life decisions, I understand that not everybody walks in the same shoes or was raised the same way, as me. They're not, people aren't going to have the same perspective of the world and how to live and their customs and their traditions and whatever. I mean, it varies from person to person. And I don't ever want to be the kind of person that feels like I'm going to impose my beliefs on someone. Some people, just by being different, they take it as it strikes them. It like, well, why are you different? They're different. Them being different than you in any way, okay, it sets off some sort of competition. Maybe in their minds they're thinking, well, this is normal to me. If she's not doing it, or she doesn't think this way, therefore it's not normal. And then they want to try to correct your behavior. Or some people do it because there is a sick form of jealousy. And they, want to either feel like, they want you to look at their lives as superior. So they try to force you into living their kind of lifestyle. But when somebody takes it, and I think that's all very petty, and it's a no-no for me. I don't believe in that. I respect the rights of other people as long as they're not hurting another human being. Okay, I don't get threatened because somebody sees something a different way than I do. I don't. It doesn't. I don't care. You know what I mean? Because I realize that not everyone's the same. I can't get over the fact that something so basic, something so, like, it's a no-brainer to me, how somebody could I mean, it's a no-brainer that you should never interfere in another person's life, okay? Especially, or try to bully somebody or manipulate somebody, like especially controlling somebody's employment. Or even worse, what I suspect that they were trying to force me to go to be with Joel, to like, forget my divorce and somehow go back to him. That to me is crazy. That sort of control and manipulation is like, that's insane. It's insane. It's insanity. Especially when I think about the kind of lifestyle or the kind of, treatment, mainly, okay? Their lifestyle and mainly their treatment that I got from that family. Also thinking that they're entitled to manipulate and control. I don't want anything to do with those people. But the very fact that there was so much ridiculous pressure, for me to do something like that, that's scary. That's like a woman who's trying to abandon or abuse, not abandon, but to try to escape, okay? A tormentor. Somebody who abuses her financially. Somebody who, abuses her emotionally as well as financially, okay? That to me is like, to even think that I would be dumb enough to consider that, like there were times I went back to him before because I considered him to be, let me shrug my shoulders at this one. It's not that big of an issue, okay? But this sort of issue, it's like, hell no. And to think that somebody is speaking for me, like, I don't know if it's my sister Tanya or her husband Jim, whatever. I don't know who, but you don't try to force shit together. You don't try to force people together. You don't try to, how is it that somebody would even think something that's stupid, and not just stupid. To me, it's like, it feels like, I hate to keep using this word, but it feels like rape. It feels like the sort of abuse and sort of, abuse, okay? It's abuse, okay? It's the most horrible thing you could do to a woman. Fucking God, it's horrible. Anyway, so yeah, I look at people differently now, but, I will never trust another person again. I will say that. I will never trust a goddamn person ever again. Because I never thought these people were great, but I never thought that they would be so low to do something like that. I mean, that is, it's hard for me to deal with that. It just isn't. So for all the people who got involved, it's like, I feel like, cut ties. And because some things are just too unacceptable. So that's it. I'm done with my blood relations, and I'm done with Joel's family. Never wanted to have anything to do with those people. I washed my hands of them, and I'm just wishing that other people and hoping that other people learn from this. Really, I do. I know that some people just roll their eyes and they think it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Don't ever take on the responsibility unknowingly to assist in abusing a human being. Don't get wrapped up in people's family lives. If somebody is arranging jobs behind the scenes, please start thinking and questioning yourself as to whether this person is a trafficked individual. If this person, which I'm sure all the employers knew that my family was bossy, bullying, and I had moved from one place to another, bouncing back and forth like some kind of, bouncing ball against the wall, with employers, and yet these people still accommodated these people. It's like it never occurred to these people that that's abuse, that somebody is stalking. If it's done behind the scenes, why does it have to be something I'm sneaking? I'm just saying is, people, open your eyes to what you're doing. You could be helping somebody like for example, some of these cases, I forgot that girl. She was from a religious sect, a small Christian religious sect. I think it was somewhere in Utah, maybe Idaho. I don't remember. Anyway, she had escaped her tormentor, but everybody on the outside kept, always thought that this person was so nice and he was so friendly or whatever. They knew that there was a girl living in the house. They didn't know that, she was being held a hostage or captive or whatever. But she was, and there's so many things that are red flags that should be showing or popping up in people's mind. Now, mind you, nobody kept me down in a basement, but somebody cut off my life support, okay, and then wanted me to force me into their religion. Did anybody ever think that this was a fucking cult? Did it occur to anybody that, you don't do those sort of things? I mean, and what bothers me, and I mentioned this a couple of times, these posters on the wall that specifically said, and all the training that these managers are supposed to have, it's like, people can abuse people right in front of your face, and nobody even cares or pays attention. And when somebody's crying out on videos or whatever, you get ignored. It's like, but anyway, pay attention to the signs, okay? Those are the signs of someone being abused, domestic abuse or whatever. And if they're doing things behind the scenes, calling in, arranging jobs and not being able to be revealed, these are stalkers. Okay? And stalkers, I will tell you, somebody doing that, manipulating the strings, having dinner with somebody, laughing and talking in their face, and then manipulating strings and things behind the strings, and then creating chaos, and then knowing that you lose your job and you're going back with them, and then having you come over for dinner and socializing with you, knowing that they fucked your shit up. That's a stalker. Okay? That's a stalker right there. And I just want people to wise up, because I don't want, people to be abused like that. I think about the financial disaster that these people cause. First, when I was working over in Chatsworth, the mobbing got so bad I couldn't work anymore. So then I moved back here, and then that's like lost wages. It's like, starting over again, the moving expenses, all of that. That I had to basically start all over again. And then the same shit happened over at Murray Family Farms. And then, I was bouncing back here, being put on unemployment for a very long time. All of these crazy things. You know what I mean? And you're basically, you understand these people are coming from a so-called Christian angle, so you're referencing the Bible. You're basically going over state laws for employment, federal laws, as well as, just regular laws that govern, I guess the national laws, whatever you want to call them. Nobody cares. You're terrified, that somebody would allow this sort of manipulation, this bullying, high-level bullying. Somebody would allow that. And you wonder in this world, how can you feel safe? So anyway, I want people to wise up, is what I want to do. I want people to pay attention to these sort of things, because it's life-threatening. It is. It's a dangerous thing. And then to cause sort of chaos and the what do you call it, the smear campaigns and all this other stuff, and God, do they realize that this is exactly the sort of thing that it's a form of genocide? It's like, wake up. That's why it's illegal. It's illegal to do this sort of stuff for a reason. So that's all I want to say. I'm going to wrap this video up. Have a wonderful weekend.